Did you know, as we grow older, many of us unknowingly carry habits that quietly tarnish the image we've built, yet no one has the heart to point them out. Not because they don't care, but because they're afraid of hurting you. Afraid of breaking the respect that's been nurtured over time. Afraid that sometimes a single truth spoken aloud could create a distance that never closes. The older we get, the easier it is to slip into blind spots, small habits that, without us noticing, slowly push others away. You might think, I'm just being myself, but from the outside, others may see it very differently. Sadly, these habits don't just affect how others perceive you. They quietly erode the confidence, dignity, and inner beauty you've spent a lifetime cultivating. The good news? Most of these habits can absolutely be changed. It only takes a little awareness, a little adjustment, a little more self-love. In today's video, Life in Words will walk with you through 12 common habits many seniors unknowingly fall into. Habits that may seem harmless, yet quietly dim the light within you. We're not here to judge, but to grow together, to keep shining at every stage of life. If you're passionate about living well, living joyfully for yourself and for those around you, make sure to subscribe to Life in Words and turn on the notification bell. Our videos will always be here to walk beside you on the beautiful journey of aging with grace and strength. Are you ready? Let's begin. Part 1. Neglecting personal hygiene. There's a delicate truth few have the courage to say out loud. When you start neglecting your personal hygiene, others can sense it and quietly step back. Not because they love you any less, but because these subtle signals, wrinkled clothes, unkempt hair, overgrown nails, or a lingering scent after you leave, unconsciously send out a message. I have stopped caring for myself. In our younger years, dressing neatly, grooming ourselves, and staying fresh often came naturally. But as time passes, as our energy wanes and our daily rhythm slows, many of us begin to wonder, what's the point anymore? Yet, ironically, this is when self-care matters most. It's no longer just about appearances. It's a quiet declaration. I still respect myself. I am still present in this life, with dignity and joy. You don't need to dress like a movie star, but a clean shirt, well-groomed hair, and cared-for hands are enough to send a powerful message. That you still cherish life, starting with yourself. And wonderfully, the world responds in kind. Warmth, closeness, longer conversations, more embraces, all flow back to you, sparked by these small acts of self-love. Remember, personal hygiene is not just about the surface. It's a silent yet powerful greeting to the world. I'm still here. I still honor myself. And I still honor you. Part 2. Speaking without a filter. Another subtle habit that sometimes creeps in with age is speaking whatever's on our mind without thinking. When we're younger, we often filter our words, weighing whether what we're about to say is necessary or kind. But as the years roll on, those boundaries can start to blur. Some might even think, I've earned the right to say whatever I want. And yes, you have earned the right to be honest. But honesty, without compassion, can easily become an invisible arrow that wounds others. Maybe it's a casual comment about someone's weight. Maybe it's a joke about their parenting choices. You might think you're just stating the truth, a gentle reminder even. But to the one listening, it can feel like a quiet, lasting hurt. The sad part is, most people won't tell you they're hurt. They'll just pull away. They'll meet you less often. Their conversations with you will become shorter, more guarded. They'll hide the tender parts of themselves from your words, This doesn't mean you have to silence yourself or think 7 times before you speak. It simply means pausing briefly to ask, is this necessary? Is this kind? Because true wisdom in aging isn't about proving who's right. It's about using our words to build bridges, not erect walls. You don't have to abandon the truth. You just have to wrap it in compassion. And when you do, your words won't just be heard. They'll be cherished, remembered like precious gems of the heart. Part 3. Wearing ill-fitting clothes. As time passes, our bodies change, gently, yet inevitably. And yet, many of us continue clinging to old clothes that no longer fit, as if holding on to the days that have slipped away. Maybe it's that once perfect shirt, the pair of jeans that used to make you feel youthful and strong. But today they hang loosely, faded and worn, quietly sending out a message. I'm no longer fully here, in the present. Clothing isn't just about covering the body. It's a silent language that speaks volumes about how much you value yourself. A well-fitting, clean outfit that suits your body and spirit today isn't about impressing anyone. It's about telling the world, and yourself, I accept who I am. I cherish myself right here, right now. You don't have to chase fashion trends. Simply choose clothes that make you feel comfortable, confident, and alive. When you do that, others can feel it instantly. A quiet, yet undeniable magnetism. And you'll notice how smiles, warm greetings, and kind glances find their way back to you, naturally and effortlessly. If you're still watching, we'd love to hear from you. Do you have a piece of clothing that makes you feel more confident whenever you wear it? If so, share its name or description in the comments below. We would love to hear your little stories. Part 4. Interrupting or dominating conversations. With age comes not just knowledge, but a treasure trove of life experience. Sometimes, during conversations, the eagerness to share what we know or what we've lived makes us unintentionally talk too much. We interrupt others. We quickly jump in with a story of our own, not out of disrespect, but with the good-hearted intention, I want to help you. I know this is important. Yet, to the person on the other side, it feels very different. They may feel unheard, their voice overshadowed by a flood of sharing. Slowly, they might choose silence instead. They'll shorten their stories, or avoid deeper conversations altogether. The sad truth is, you might have countless wonderful things to share, but if others aren't given the space to express themselves, they won't stay long enough to hear them. Sometimes, the greatest gift in a conversation isn't advice. It's your presence, a listening gaze, an encouraging nod, a patient pause, allowing the other person to say everything they need to. Because when you make someone feel heard, you don't just build a conversation. You build a bridge, strong, lasting, and beautiful. If you're still here with us at Life in Words, type "listening" in the comments to remind yourself. In this busy world, a true listener is a rare and precious soul. Part 5. Criticizing the younger generation. The longer we live, the more change we witness in culture, technology, and how people interact. And sometimes, these differences quietly stir discomfort inside us. We weren't like that in my day. Then, during conversations, small criticisms begin to slip out about the strange way young people dress, about their constant attachment to phones, about their unrealistic ways of seeing the world. You might believe you're simply stating facts. You want the younger generation to be tougher, wiser, more grounded. But sadly, what your children or grandchildren may feel isn't your care. It's your judgment, And over time, they will retreat. They'll share less. They'll keep their distance, not from lack of love, but from fear of being hurt. This doesn't mean you must agree with everything. You have every right to hold on to your values, but instead of reacting with criticism, try responding with curiosity. What does that mean to you? Tell me more about it. When you open your heart, instead of closing it with judgment, something beautiful happens. The younger ones will come closer, eager to share, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine longing to connect with a soul that remains open. If you're still watching, Life in Words would love to know, what do you admire most about the younger generation today? Share your thoughts in the comments. We can't wait to read your beautiful perspectives. Part 6. Lacking Courtesy in Public Spaces. When we were young, we were taught, walk softly, speak gently, smile graciously. But as time goes on, those little courtesies sometimes fade, not out of disrespect, but out of unconscious habit. You might not realize you're speaking a bit too loudly in a small cafe, or that you're blocking an aisle in a crowded store, or that you've accidentally cut in line or stopped abruptly in a hallway. These small actions, though seemingly harmless, can quietly create discomfort in others. No one will scold you. No one will complain outright. But distance begins to grow silently. Today, in an increasingly crowded and fast-paced world, a little public courtesy becomes a priceless gift you can offer every day. A soft smile of apology when you accidentally block someone's way. A gentle gesture of letting someone pass when they're in a hurry. A mindful awareness of the space you share with others. These simple acts don't just make others feel more comfortable. They make you radiate a unique kind of beauty. The beauty of conscious presence and natural graciousness. If you're still with us, Life in Words has a small question. When was the last time you received a kind gesture from a stranger? Share that little story in the comments. Because sometimes, it's the smallest stories that create the greatest ripple effects. Part 7. Talking Too Much About Illness. Aging brings many things, treasured memories, profound lessons, and inevitably, changes in our health. It's perfectly natural to share the ups and downs of what our bodies go through. But sometimes, focusing too much on illness can unintentionally turn every conversation into a long list of aches, medications, and sadness. You might not notice it, but when every discussion centers around the latest diagnosis, lab results, or uncertain surgeries, the person you're speaking to starts to feel weary. Not because they lack compassion, but because deep down, they realize they can't heal you with their words. And to protect their own emotional well-being, they begin to pull away. The truth is, you absolutely deserve to be heard and supported, but your life is so much more than a medical chart. You have hobbies, dreams, small, everyday joys, things that people genuinely want to share with you. Let your conversations be lit up with stories of what you can still do, what you still love, what still makes you laugh. Because sometimes, just by changing the way you tell your story, you become a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. If you're still here with us, Life in Words would love to ask, what small thing today made you smile? If you have something to share, don't hesitate to leave it in the comments, because often it's the simplest joys that connect us the deepest. Part 8. Clinging to old views and closing off to new ideas. We grew up in a world that looks very different from today. Values that once felt like rock-solid foundations are now questioned or evolving faster than ever. It's perfectly understandable that some of us find it hard to accept new technologies, hard to accept new ways of thinking, hard to accept the growing diversity of the world around us. But when we cling too tightly to the past and reject everything new, something heartbreaking happens. We build walls around ourselves, walls of isolation. Younger people will share less with you. Friends might avoid discussing new ideas. The world keeps spinning forward, while you stand still, alone. The beautiful truth is, opening your heart to new things doesn't mean abandoning your core values. It simply says to the world, I am still willing to learn. I still want to understand. I am still growing every day. You don't have to agree with everything. Just being willing to listen, to ask sincere questions, to leave a few doors open in your heart, that's enough. If you're still with us at this point, Life in Words would love to know, what's something new you've encountered recently that made you think? Please share it in the comments, because every share plants a seed of growth for all of us. Part 9. Being unmindful in shared spaces. Modern life moves faster and feels more crowded than ever before. In shared spaces like supermarkets, hospitals, train stations, and parks, every small action we take can impact the experience of others, often without us realizing it. Have you ever unknowingly stopped in the middle of a walkway to read a sign, forcing people behind you to swerve? Have you ever chatted animatedly while walking, accidentally blocking the path of others, or spoken a little too loudly on your phone in a quiet space? It's not because you're rude. It's just easy to get lost in our own little worlds and forget that we're sharing space with dozens, even hundreds of other people. But those small, unconscious moments create ripples of irritation, and over time, they quietly dim how others see us, without us even knowing. The good news is, a little mindfulness changes everything. A quick glance before stopping, a small step aside for someone in a hurry, lowering your voice when you notice the environment calls for it. We don't need grand gestures, just this simple, gentle question in our hearts. Am I making this shared space more pleasant for others? If you're still listening, Life in Words would love to ask you, has a stranger ever made a small, thoughtful gesture toward you in public? If so, please share that story in the comments. Because these small acts of kindness deserve to be celebrated and passed on. Part 10. Telling outdated or awkward jokes. Laughter is a precious gift we can offer each other at any age. A funny story, a light-hearted joke. Sometimes it's all it takes to melt away tension and bring strangers closer. But here's a delicate truth. Not every joke stands the test of time. The jokes that once had everyone rolling with laughter 30 years ago might today come across as awkward or even offensive, especially in a world that values inclusivity and respect more than ever. You might feel you're just having a little fun. You might think young people these days are too sensitive, but what others often feel isn't joy, it's distance. They might politely chuckle, but inside, they grow colder. They'll still invite you to gatherings, but tread more carefully around deeper conversations. The wonderful news is, you don't have to abandon your sense of humor. You just need a little adjustment. Steer your humor toward things everyone can laugh at, without making anyone feel uncomfortable. A genuine, kind-hearted laugh never goes out of style. It makes you the kind of person others love to be around. Not because you're trying to be funny, but because you make them feel safe, respected, and warm. If you're still with Life in Words, at this point, type "beautiful smile" in the comments, because a truly beautiful smile is one that never gets old. Part 11. Pretending to be helpless to get help. Aging brings many changes, both physical and emotional. Some tasks that once felt effortless now take more time and energy. And asking for help when needed is natural and should be honored. But sometimes, a quiet habit sneaks in. We pretend to be helpless in things we can still do ourselves, not out of laziness, not out of selfishness, but deep down, out of a yearning to be cared for, to be noticed, to feel important. However, when this becomes a habit, the people who love us may begin to feel drained. They love you. They are willing to help you. But they also long to see you try, to do what you still can. Because every time you rise on your own, every time you accomplish something independently, you preserve your dignity and gift your loved ones a quiet pride. There's nothing more beautiful than the image of an older adult rising confidently, not because they move quickly, but because they move with deep self-respect. There's nothing more heartwarming than a truly grateful smile when receiving just the right help, not dependency, but genuine gratitude. You deserve to be loved, and the best kind of love is built on mutual respect, not obligation or burden. If you're still with us, Life in Words would love to know, what's one small thing you can still proudly do on your own every day? Share it in the comments. Because every effort, no matter how small, deserves to be celebrated. Part 12, Always Needing to Prove You're Right. After a lifetime of experiences, we gather a treasure trove of knowledge and hard-earned lessons. And sometimes, because we've seen so much, we feel the urge to correct things we see as wrong. In a conversation, when someone shares a new or different idea, you may feel that inner tug, I need to show them what's truly right. Wanting to share your wisdom is a beautiful thing, but when every conversation becomes about proving yourself right, the connection begins to crumble. The other person may feel lectured. They might go silent, not because they're convinced, but because they want to avoid confrontation. Ironically, the more we insist on being right, the easier it is to lose the quiet respect others once held for us. True wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing when to speak and when to simply listen. It's about recognizing that sometimes letting others discover their own lessons is the greatest gift we can give. And here's the magic. When you become the person who listens first, people will naturally seek out your advice. Because then, you won't just be knowledgeable, you'll be inspiring. If you're still walking alongside Life in Words, we'd love to ask, what do you believe is the most beautiful quality of a truly wise elder? Share your thoughts in the comments. We can't wait to hear your wonderful perspective. Conclusion. Touching true growth. Dear friend, if you've stayed with Life in Words until these final moments, it says something incredibly beautiful about you. You still long to grow. Because growth doesn't end at 20, 40, or even 80. Growth is a lifelong journey. One moment, one choice, one small act at a time. When we dare to listen to the delicate truths, to face ourselves without judgment or blame, we touch a rare kind of beauty. True freedom. Freedom from outdated habits. Freedom from silent isolation. Freedom to connect, to love, to live fully at every age. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just one small step each day. One time choosing to listen instead of lecture. One time choosing curiosity instead of judgment. One time choosing to love yourself through simple acts of care. And step by step, you will become the most radiant version of yourself, not by trying to prove anything, but by quietly shining for everyone around you. If anything today touched your heart, Life in Words invites you to comment, I choose to grow every day. Because even the smallest promise to yourself carries tremendous power. If you found this video meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share it to spread these beautiful values to even more hearts. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for growing alongside us. We can't wait to journey with you again soon.